An important milestone in humanity's fight against COVID pandemic. UK has become the first Western country to approve a COVID-19 vaccine with its regulator clearing Pfizer and BioNTech shot. The emergency authorization clears the way for deployment of this vaccine that's expected to play a significant role in the global efforts to halt the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, the messenger RNA vaccine is claimed to have a 95% effectiveness in clinical trials. The vaccine will be available in Britain from next week. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson hailed this breakthrough and said that it is the protection of the vaccine that will allow people to reclaim their lives and get the economy moving again. Britain's COVID death toll has now reached or crossed the 60,000 mark. However, experts believe that Pfizer vaccine needs to be stored at a very low temperature of around minus 70 degrees Celsius, and it would be difficult to do so in India. Sources say that India's talks with Pfizer BioNTech for their vaccine is still inconclusive.
Thank you. A really important point relates to the thorough work, scientifically rigorous, methodologically sound that the agency has done. And the way of working in a rolling review ensures that our teams of clinicians and scientists are working in parallel to complete all the work according to strict guidelines on safety, effectiveness and quality is complete. This vaccine has only been approved because those strict tests have been done and complied with. And everyone can be absolutely confident that no corners whatsoever have been cut. Perhaps if I could think of an analogy, if you're climbing a mountain, you prepare and prepare. We started that in June. By the time the interim results became available on the 10th of November, we were at base camp. And then, when we got the final analysis, we were ready for that last sprint that takes us to today. And that is the
MHRA, the fiercely independent regulator, has clinically authorised the vaccine for rollout. So from early next week, we will start the programme of vaccinating people against COVID-19 here in this country. And as we know from earlier announcements, this vaccine is effective. The MHRA have approved it as clinically safe.
Now, Lavina joining us from United Kingdom to give us a perspective. Lavina, does this really mean the least common denominator is going to have the vaccine as early as next week itself? But there are certain concerns there about how they're really going to deal with it. Take us through the nuances here.
See, the distribution of Pfizer, as you mentioned, in minus 70 degrees is extremely difficult. But nonetheless, at the moment in the UK, this is still a good news. As far as the Oxford Jenner vaccine is going to be coming soon as well, it is expected that in the next few weeks, that might get its stamp from the regulators. And if that happens, then that is one vaccine that can be stored in the refrigerator and it can be administered very easily. It's cheaper. And this is how multiple vaccines coming through is the only way forward for everyone in the world to access it. So if Pfizer is just a start, and 40 million doses since UK has already secured 10 million on the way by the end of the month. The doctor surgeries are ready to roll it out to the care homes and the healthcare professionals who look after everybody. So it's a start. But all the other concerns of distribution and how everything will be managed very soon, Oxford Jenner in the UK will be here as well to take care of that.
Right, Lavina, first reaction coming in from Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and he's hailing this vaccine here. What's the rollout plan now that's chalked out?
Of course, Boris Johnson needs good news, and he has got Britain being the first to have a vaccine stamped by the regulators. The first in line are the social care home workers and the social care home staff and the people residing there. This is the sector in the UK that suffered the most in the pandemic. There were really a lot of casualties in this sector. So they will be governed. When I say social care, I mean all the care home where old people are residing and all the staff caring for them. Then, of course, are the healthcare professionals, doctors and frontline workers who have to continue giving care to people, and therefore they are second in the line, followed by those above 80, then above 70, and then there is 7-8 categories of people. So to people like us, this vaccine actually, I don't think will be reaching out anytime soon, because there are only 40 million doses that the UK has secured, 10 million on the way by the end of the month, but still not enough for everybody here in the whole UK population. But then Oxford Jenner is very close in the queue, so one is hopeful, with fingers crossed, that by the time Pfizer rolls it out next week, Oxford Jenner will be approved by the regulators, which is easier to administer and cheaper.
Right, Lavina, thank you very much for joining us with those details there. Now, as the hunt for the vaccine continues, big statement by India's apex medical body there. ICMR has said it may not be necessary for every Indian to get vaccinated. ICMR chief Dr. Balram Bhargava has said that targeted vaccination for clinical mass, or the critical mass there, may be just enough. Not all need to be vaccinated. He said that maybe this will achieve the objective of India breaking the COVID transmission chain. This comes as the Union Health Ministry on Tuesday clarified that the government never spoke about vaccinating the entire population against COVID-19.
Question would depend on the efficacy of the vaccine, number one. And obviously there is a range. It may be effective 60% in someone, 70% in someone else. So efficacy is one issue. The second issue is that our purpose is to break the chain of virus transmission. So if we are able to vaccinate a critical mass of people.
Now, as the hunt for the vaccine continues, big statement by India's apex medical body there. ICMR has said it may not be necessary for every Indian to get vaccinated. ICMR chief Dr. Balram Bhargava has said that targeted vaccination for clinical mass, or the critical mass there, may be just enough. Not all need to be vaccinated. He said that maybe this will achieve the objective of India breaking the COVID transmission chain. This comes as the Union Health Ministry on Tuesday clarified that the government never spoke about vaccinating the entire population against COVID-19.
Question would depend on the efficacy of the vaccine, number one. And obviously there is a range. It may be effective 60% in someone, 70% in someone else. So efficacy is one issue. The second issue is that our purpose is to break the chain of virus transmission. So if we are able to vaccinate a critical mass of people and break that virus transmission, then we may not have to vaccinate the entire population.
पूरे देश के टीकाकरण की बात सरकार ने कभी नहीं की है. I just wanted to make that clear. मैं बार बार ये कहता हूँ कि इस प्रकार के जो साइंटिफिक विषय होते हैं, साइंस से संबंधित विषय होते हैं, उस पर जब हम चर्चा करते हैं तो ये बेहतर होता यदि हम पहले इस तरह की जो तथ्यात्मक जानकारी है, फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन, उसको हासिल कर लें, उसके बाद फिर विश्लेषण करें. तो पूरे देश के टीकाकरण की बात कभी नहीं कही गई है.
Meanwhile, politics has erupted over the centre's statement. Opposition targets the BJP government over Health Secretary's statement on vaccines, where he said that the government never mentioned about all not being vaccinated. Opposition says for gaining votes, BJP had promised free vaccination for one and all, and now is walking back on its promise. Let's take a listen.
ये तो देखो केंद्र सरकार की नीति है, वही बता सकते हैं. और हमारा ये मानना है कि अगर वैक्सीन सफल होती है और दी जाती है, सबको देना चाहिए.
लेकिन सर, आपने बीते दिनों कहा था कि अगर दिल्ली को दी जाती है तो 3-4 हफ्ते में पूरी दिल्ली को.
जी, हम फिर से कह रहे हैं कि अगर दिल्ली को केंद्र सरकार देती है तो हम 3-4 हफ्ते में पूरी दिल्ली को लगा देंगे.
लेकिन सर, सभी के लिए दिया ही नहीं जा रहा है जैसा उन्होंने कहा.
ये तो केंद्र सरकार की नीति के ऊपर है, पर देना चाहिए, हमारा एक कहना है.
बिहार के चुनाव में वादा किया गया कि बिहार की जनता को मुफ्त में हम टीका लगाएंगे. क्या बिहार की जनता और देश की जनता अलग है? नमस्ते ट्रम्प के चक्कर में पूरे देश को बर्बाद कर दिया. और अगर वैक्सीन की जरूरत है तो सरकारी तिजोरी से पैसा नहीं खर्च होगा, हमें लगता है इससे बड़ा अन्याय देश की जनता के साथ हो नहीं सकता।
अब क्या सरकार हमें बताएगी कि किस किस तरीके से चुना जाएगा कि किसको वैक्सीन पहले दी जाएगी? क्योंकि आपने आज हेल्थ सेक्रेटरी ने कह दिया है सबको वैक्सीन नहीं दी जा सकती है, तो किस किस को दी जाएगी, किस किस को आप प्राथमिकता देंगे? आपने बिहार में फ्री वैक्सीन की बात की, आपने हैदराबाद म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन में फ्री वैक्सीन की बात की, तो जो लोग इन क्षेत्रों में नहीं है क्या उनको फ्री वैक्सीन का अधिकार नहीं मिलेगा या सब्सिडाइज्ड कॉस्ट पे मिलेगी? ये भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी चल रही केंद्र सरकार जवाब दे।
Now it's raining good news on the vaccine front. On Monday, Moderna filed a request with the US drug regulators for emergency use of its vaccine candidate after successful late-stage trials. Back home, Covaxin's phase 3 trials have begun as well. Let's take a listen at this report.
Hope of a preventive cure for coronavirus have increased further. US pharma company Moderna claims its coronavirus vaccine has achieved 94.1% efficacy in late-stage trials. More significantly, it has achieved 100% success in preventing severe COVID-19 cases. The firm has now applied with the US FDA and the European Medicines Agency for emergency use. Moderna says 30,000 volunteers were a part of the trial. 15,000 participants got the vaccine while the rest got placebos. Of those who took the vaccine, the company says only 11 got COVID, but none of them were serious in nature. None of the volunteers suffered any serious side effects. Moderna is the second firm to file for emergency use after Pfizer and BioNTech.
If we can prevent severe cases, it means reduced or no hospitalization and no death, and that will be, of course, I believe, a game changer in this pandemic.
Back in India, the phase 3 trials of Covaxin is underway at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The vaccine is being developed by BioNTech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.